You go to a party or dinner with friends, maybe just coffee, and nothing bad happens. Everyone's nice, the conversation's fine, you're even enjoying yourself. But then you get home and you're completely drained. You're sitting there thinking, why? Why do I feel like this when nothing went wrong? Here's the thing, nothing is wrong with you. This isn't about being antisocial, not even about hating people. It's about how your brain processes everything in real time. And there are specific patterns, 7 of them, that explain exactly why some people leave social situations feeling energized, while others walk away feeling done. By the end of this, you'll understand what your brain is actually doing in those moments. And once you see it, you won't look at social interactions the same way again. Your brain is processing multiple layers at once, monitoring the whole group dynamic, managing how you come across, absorbing everyone's emotions, staying aware of everything around you, still processing after you've left, and needing very specific conditions to actually recharge. These aren't random. They're all connected to how your mind handles social situations. And pattern number 6 is the one that surprises most people because it happens after the event is already over. So, let's start with the first one. Pattern number 1. Your brain processes multiple conversation layers at the same time. So, here's what I mean by that. When someone's talking, most people are listening to the words. That's basically it. But you're doing something way more complex. You're listening to the words, yeah, but you're also tracking their tone, their facial expressions, body language, the subtext, what they're not saying, the emotional vibe underneath everything, all of it at the same time. Psychologists call this multi-channel processing. In simple terms, you're running several programs at once. And it's just like when your phone gets slow because you've got too many apps open. That's what's happening in your brain. So someone's telling a story about their weekend. Everyone else is hearing the story. You're analyzing. Are they actually happy about this? Does their tone match their words? Is there something they're leaving out? How's everyone else reacting to this? You're not choosing to do this, by the way. It just happens. Your brain can't easily turn off these extra channels. It probably developed early. Maybe you learned that reading between the lines was important, or your brain naturally does this. Either way, it's automatic now. So, a simple dinner conversation, not simple for you. Someone mentions their new job. While others are listening to the job description, you're noticing the slight tension in their voice when they mention their boss, the way they change the subject quickly, how their enthusiasm seems a little forced. You're gathering way more data, and processing all that data, that requires energy. Here's the part most people miss though. This doesn't feel optional. You're not deliberately choosing to analyze everything. It just happens. Pattern number 2. You're monitoring the group dynamics in real time. This is beyond processing conversations. You're tracking the whole system. Who's being included? Who's being left out? Which topics are creating tension? And how the energy's shifting. You're not just in the conversation, you're also watching the conversation from outside. Psychologists call it systems awareness. Here's an example. You're at dinner with 6 people. Everyone else is focused on the current topic. Part of your brain is noticing that person over there has barely said anything. This other person keeps getting interrupted. And there's this weird dynamic between those 2 people. You might even catch yourself trying to fix it, asking the quiet person a question to bring them in, steering away from topics that seem tense, creating space for someone who wants to speak but can't find an opening. The conversation just happens for most people. The group dynamics sort themselves out. For you, there's this constant background awareness of the entire social system. It's exhausting because you're essentially running 2 programs at once. First, participating in the conversation, and second, observing the conversation. That is like playing chess while also keeping score. People with this awareness often end up taking on these unofficial roles. You're the person who notices when someone's being excluded, who smooths over awkward moments, who makes sure the conversation flows. Not because you want to control anything, but because you can't help noticing these patterns. And once you notice them, you feel compelled to address them. The exhaustion comes from that dual processing, being in it, while also watching it. Which brings us to the next thing. What you're doing with your own presentation. Pattern number 3. You're constantly regulating how you come across. Like, while you're processing all this incoming information, you're also managing the outgoing stuff, how you're being perceived. This isn't about being fake, it's about being really aware of how your words land, your tone, your expressions. You're making constant micro adjustments. You notice a comment didn't quite land right. You rephrase. Someone misunderstood your tone, you clarify. You've been talking too much, you pull back. Or you've been too quiet, you contribute more. You're running this sophisticated monitoring system, getting constant feedback on how you're being perceived. Here's what this looks like. You make a joke. Everyone laughs, but you notice one person looks slightly uncomfortable. Now part of your brain is processing. Was that joke okay? Should I have said that differently? Is that person actually uncomfortable? Am I reading too much into it? This continuous self-monitoring takes significant mental energy. You're doing quality control on your own social output in real time. This probably developed because you learned that careful communication matters, that it prevents misunderstandings, maintains harmony. Your brain got really good at reading how you come across and adjusting. The exhaustion builds because there's no autopilot mode. You're actively managing your presentation the entire time. Pattern number 4. You absorb emotional information from your environment. Beyond tracking words and dynamics, your brain is picking up everyone's emotional state. When someone's stressed, you feel it, even if they're not talking about it. When there's tension between people, you sense it, even if they're acting normal. Researchers call this emotional permeability. In simple terms, your boundaries for emotional information are more porous than average. You're absorbing the emotional atmosphere, and it affects your own internal state. Here's a specific example. You're at a gathering. Everyone seems fine on the surface, but you notice your energy dropping, and you can't figure out why. Then you realize that someone in the group is actually anxious, even though they're hiding it well. Your system picked up on it, and now it's affecting you. Most people have stronger emotional filters. They walk into a room and feel their own feelings. They might notice if someone's obviously upset, but they're not absorbing the ambient emotional climate. You are. You're taking in emotional data from multiple sources at once. The person pretending to be happy, but isn't. The subtle discomfort in someone's energy, the unspoken tension nobody's addressing. This isn't exactly empathy, though they're related. Empathy is understanding what someone feels. This is your system actually taking on elements of what others are feeling, often without you even realizing it. It's exhausting because you're not managing just your own emotional state. You're being influenced by everyone else's. By the end of the event, you've processed your emotions, plus absorbed emotional information from 6 other people. The next thing explains why even the physical space affects you more. Pattern number 5. You maintain heightened sensory awareness. While all this social and emotional processing is happening, your brain is also tracking sensory information, the noise level, the lighting, temperature, how crowded it is, background conversations, music, the smell of food, even the feeling of the chair you're sitting in. Most people filter this out. Their brain says, this isn't important right now, and stops processing it. Your brain keeps these channels open. Here's what this looks like. You're at a restaurant with friends. The conversation's actually engaging, but you're also aware that the music's slightly too loud. There's a table nearby having this intense discussion. The lighting has this harsh quality, and the restaurant's more crowded than you'd prefer. You're not choosing to notice these things. They're just each part of your awareness, and each sensory input takes mental energy to process. This heightened awareness combines with everything else. You're processing the conversation, monitoring the group, managing your presentation, absorbing emotional information, and tracking multiple sensory inputs, all at once. Studies show about 15 to 20% of people process sensory information more deeply than average. If you're in that group, environments that others find merely busy can feel genuinely overwhelming. The exhaustion builds up because your sensory system never fully relaxes. There's no way to completely tune out the stimulation around you. Now, here's what happens after you leave, and this might be the most relatable one yet. Pattern number 6. You keep processing conversations. after they end. Most people have the interaction with others, and when it ends, they move on mentally. But your brain continues to process that conversation. You replay conversations, analyze what was said, think about what you should have said differently. Often you notice things you didn't consciously catch during the actual event. This is your brain making sense of all the data it collected. Because you gathered so much information, multiple conversation layers, group dynamics, emotional information, sensory details. Your brain needs time to organize it all. Here's a specific example. Let's say you get home from dinner. While you are getting ready for bed, you're mentally reviewing the whole evening at the same time. You remember a comment someone made, and then suddenly you understand what they were actually trying to say. You think about this moment where you said something that came out wrong, and you're considering whether to text them and clarify. This isn't repetitive worrying in the worried sense, though it can overlap. It's more data processing. Your brain recorded more information than you could fully process in real time. So, the processing continues afterward. Most people's brains do a quick summary. That was fun. Or, that was fine. Done. Your brain's doing a detailed analysis, connecting dots, understanding subtext, gaining insights that weren't clear while it was happening. This is why you might feel even more tired, an hour or two after leaving, than you felt during the actual event. Your brain's still working, which leads to the final pattern, what you actually need to recover. Pattern number 7. Your energy recharge requires specific conditions. After all this processing, your brain needs to restore its resources. But here's what most people don't get. You can't recharge the same way other people do. Your system has specific requirements. Most people can recharge while still being around others, or doing passive things like watching TV. But for you, a genuine recharge usually requires low stimulation environments, where your processing systems can actually rest. This means quiet spaces, where you don't have to monitor anything. Minimal sensory input. You don't have to manage how you come across. You're not absorbing anyone else's emotional state. Practically, this looks exactly how you'd expect. After a social event, you might need to sit in silence, low lighting, not engage with screens or conversations. Just let your mind and body settle. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about giving your processing systems genuine downtime. Some people recharge by immediately going to another event. Meeting up with other friends, for you, that's adding more processing load before you've recovered from the previous load. This explains why you need more recovery time than others. After the same social experience, they weren't running as many processing programs, so they don't need as much recovery. It's also why weekends packed with social activities, even fun ones, can leave you feeling depleted instead of refreshed. Your system never got the quiet time it needed to actually restore energy. Recognizing this isn't about limitation. It's about understanding what your mind and body needs to function well. So, those are the 7 patterns. Why you feel drained after social events, even the good ones. Your brain processes multiple conversation layers at once, monitors group dynamics in real time, constantly regulates your social presentation, absorbs emotional information from everyone around you, maintains heightened sensory awareness, keeps processing after you leave, and requires specific conditions to genuinely recharge. Here's the important part though. This isn't a problem to fix. This is how your mind and body processes social information. Some people have simpler processing systems that require less energy. Yours is more comprehensive, which means it gathers more information, provides deeper understanding. But yeah, it also requires more resources and more recovery time. The exhaustion you feel, it's not because you're doing something wrong or because you're not cut out for social interaction. It's because your brain is doing significantly more work than most people's brains are doing during these same interactions. Understanding these patterns helps you make better choices about how you engage socially. You can plan recovery time after events. Choose environments that don't create unnecessary stimulation. Recognize when you're running low on resources and actually need to recharge instead of pushing through and depleting yourself completely. Your processing style comes with real advantages. You understand interactions at a deeper level. You notice things others miss. You have this rich awareness of social dynamics. The key is honoring what your system needs to sustain that level of processing. Which of these 7 patterns describes you perfectly? And drop the number in the comments. I'm curious which one is most common. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful. You might enjoy the other stuff on this channel. Subscribe to UNFELT and press the bell icon so you never miss our next video. We explore thinking patterns, cognitive styles, how different minds process the world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.